Key challenge facing the UK's emergency services network, ESN, is now going to be training 300,000 first responders across about 1,800 different user organisations. It's really critically important that our first responders have muscle memory. They know how to use this system immediately and without thinking about it. It's also very, very important that they have the confidence that their colleagues also have the same level of understanding and the same level of competence with the system. Only then can ESN become the powerful tool that it really is. And we at Raycastle, working with our colleagues at Beacon Sim, have proposed that we think the best way of delivering a system that can deliver this training to 300,000 people across numerous different multiple user organizations very quickly, very efficiently, to a same common level of standard is that working for ESN, we deliver a common Centre of Excellence which would be responsible for training trainers to a common standard to ensure that there's consistency amongst all user organizations. We recognise that some user organisations are very large. They have their own training facilities. And in those cases, they would want to build their own facilities and to train their own trainers. Yet in other organisations, they may simply not have the facilities to do that, and they may wish to come to a centre of excellence and receive training directly, confidence. Now today, I'm joined by Alina from Beacon Sim. And Alina, I have one key question for you. Can you explain in your words how the combination of Raycastle and Beacon Sim can make our societies safer?
I think it's a very valid question, and you have to go backwards in that sense, that think first that there is a huge multi-billion project. I mean, in the long run, it's a multi-billion one. A lot of nice features, a really good network, a nice engineering system, but there is a need for that kind of last mile. And before we go into training, I think there's a really important part, which is planning, because it's not enough to train the users for the technology or the new features. It actually requires a step-by-step procedure, where first the kind of main users of the organizations are brought together to understand what they are going to get. And then there are tools with which, so that's where our solution comes into the game. You can plan things, so you can get the fleet maps and settings, and you can start to create a virtual kind of example or model environment. And then really those user organizations should be involved at that point also, so that they will consider how to actually use the new system, its features, and how those affect their operational model. And after they have done that, it's kind of, they are ready for the training part. And it's not only about the LTE devices and ESN application, different other applications that are used at the same time, but it's really also about, I mean, you have to know those too, but you have to understand what your procedures are, what your protocols are in your work, what's your role, and that can be really different, comparing different user organizations and different, even in the same organization, comparing different users in their roles.
It's just going to be like a mobile phone. Everyone knows how to use a mobile phone. They'll just be able to pick up these new devices and get on with it. So they don't need any training.
Yeah, I would ask first how much of your mobile phone you actually can use or you use. So it's most probably a small fracture. And taking into account that these users are actually, they have their own tasks. I mean, the communication isn't their main task. They are saving people from traffic accidents, or they are catching thieves, or doing something else. So they have their tasks. And this communication is something that should support them. And it should be an automatic thing. And an automatic thing is not something where you actually pull out a manual and take a look. How was it? Where should I push? And what should I do? You have to know your device by heart and your application. You have to know how to reach your colleagues or your supervisors, dispatcher, whatever is in the protocol that you have. It is a pity if a very nice technology, very nice engineered network, which will be provided now to the UK, if that the users wouldn't be able to use it, and you lose a lot of efficiency there.
You make some very good points there. And what we refer to that as, and what we see with many of our larger long-term customers, is converting what you might call training into capability building to ensure that the organization itself has the core capability. One of the key questions is, where does this content come from? Because it's the user organizations, surely, that have the expertise here. So over to you, Alina. Where does this content come from?
Actually, the content comes from the user organizations. So they are the ones who are going to use the ESN system. They have the procedures. They have their roles in different situations, dependent communication. So that part of the content we cannot provide, neither Ray Castle nor Beacon Sim. We have to have it from the user organizations. But of course, then there are also generic type of information like ESN devices, applications, how the network works, and such things. And I would say that the training content is a mixture of those.
One of the core objectives of the Centre of Excellence approach is to ensure that we have a very high degree of consistency and quality across all of the first responders that pass through training given by either the Centre of Excellence itself or any of the trainers who have been approved through the Centre of Excellence scheme. Now, I know that one of the core things that Alina and Beacon Sim have been working on is to ensure that that level of training, quality and consistency can be evidenced. And maybe, Alina, you could explain a little bit about how you at Beacon Sim go about ensuring that the quality that's delivered to end users is consistent and is evidenceable.
Yeah, I think that is guaranteed in many levels. So first of all, you actually, in our Center of Excellence concept, we qualify the trainers, so that all the trainers, they have the same knowledge. They actually have the same training content, what they are training then the users for. And because that content is then standardized and agreed that, okay, this is the content, we can be sure that all the trainees get the same level of training and same level of quality of the training. That is really important, because typically training is little bit or quite a lot dependent on the skills of the trainers and how much knowledge they have. So the trainers first are qualified and they have the same content. The next level is then that because the training content itself is standardized, agreed what it is, that would mean that, okay, all the trainees, all the users who go through the training, they actually go through the same material. They get the same information, they have the same exercises, and they learn the same content. And because simulator exercises actually check that you do the right thing. You can, of course, try out things, but then at the end, there's a kind of test at the end of the training. And in that test, the system will find out whether you have learned or not. And of course, the ultimate purpose is that everybody learns. And I mean, that might take more time for some, but anyway, there is certain guaranteed skill level.
Just as one final closing thought, if we have 300,000 first responders that we need to ensure are fully confident to be able to use ESN, if we train those people in groups of 15, that means we're going to need to have 20,000 individual training courses to actually bring everyone up to speed. That's a massive logistical task, and we need to ensure that we have a framework that can ensure quality and consistency in achieving that objective.